This episode is brought to you by ProMensal.
What you weighed in high school or what you weighed in your wedding day is not what is healthiest for your body to weigh now. And it's okay for your body to change through the different seasons of your life.
Welcome to Thriving in Menopause, brought to you by Prevention Magazine. I'm Andrea Taval, and today we're chatting about body image and, more importantly, body confidence. I'm joined by Lyndi Cohen, a nutritionist and dietitian who's just written a book called Your Weight is Not the Problem. Lindy, this book quite literally changed my life. I have to say, for many years, I have not had the confidence to wear a swimsuit. Having read the book, I decided to put on a swimsuit and I made it part of my daily regimen to enjoy an ocean swim. So thank you.
Andrea, honestly, this is music to my ears. This is why I wrote this book, because I feel like we're constantly waiting to lose weight to start living our lives, to, until we've got no cellulite on our tush or our stomach is free from fat rolls. But those are just innate to being human and being women. And I just feel like, how many more years are we going to sit out of photographs with our families and happy memories? Let's get involved, and I'm so glad you're doing that.
Look, there's really two parts to this conversation, Lindy. I think they're intrinsically linked. One is body self-confidence, and the other, I suppose, is our obsession with weight, gaining weight, losing weight, and feeling guilt around food. So perhaps we can start by you sharing with us your own story.
Oh, I'd love to, because it's a bit of a tumultuous one. So I think I was probably 5 years old when I realized I was a bit bigger than the other girls in ballet class. I was already aware of it at such a young age, but it wasn't until I was 10 or 11 that I went on my first diet, for no reason other than I wasn't thin. So I got sent to a nutritionist who gave me a meal plan, which she promised wasn't a diet, although it absolutely was a diet. It was very prescriptive. It told me what to eat, when to eat, to weigh it out, and then to track it all so we knew how much I was eating. And then I'd go in for routine weigh-ins to check my progress. And well, I really wanted to please. I thought, this is my answer. This is how I'm going to be a good girl and impress everyone, from my parents to, everyone who thought my worth was dictated by how much I weighed. And so for the next 10 years, I tried every single diet. I became obsessed with trying to weigh less, of moving my body more and burning calories. And I would lie in bed at night calculating how good or bad I'd been that day. And then what ended up happening is, well, I was willing to calorie control, aka starve myself into a version of myself that I liked. My body had different plans. And so inevitably I'd start the day off really well. But by afternoon, I'd come home from school and then I'd eat as much food as I possibly could. I'd binge eat on unhealthy foods like ice cream or chocolate just as readily as I'd binge eat on things like cucumbers or yogurt. My body didn't discriminate because it just needed energy, because I wasn't giving myself permission to eat these foods. I created a really complicated relationship with food for myself from all these years of dieting. Fast forward to 21. I am now categorically morbidly obese. I know more about nutrition than anyone I know. I am obsessed with trying to weigh less. I am religiously weighing myself multiple times a day. And to the outside world, I appeared as someone who has no willpower, has no self-control, who doesn't know what they're doing. And I want to scream when I go to my doctor and he says, maybe you should just try this diet my wife is having success with. When he says, maybe you should just try harder, I want to say, I've tried so hard. I've gone to public weigh-ins where I've cried afterwards. I have cut my hair one time so I'd weigh less at a weigh-in with a nutritionist when I was just 15 or 16. I have been given disordered eating advice my entire life, and here I am, the heaviest I've ever been. So dedicated to this dieting pursuit, and yet so self-loathing and so stuck and sad about the whole situation. And I felt scared about this trajectory I was on. And so at 21, I was like, all right, this has been a decade. We've tried this. This hasn't worked. What are we going to do? What are we going to do from here? And I rationalized that if I kept dieting, I was going to keep getting the same outcome. I was going to keep gaining weight. My cravings for the foods I was forbidding myself from having would continue to go up. And I decided that I needed to learn how to stop dieting. Over the next 4 years, I did just that. And I ended up losing 20 kilograms, which is this crazy thing because the very thing I had chased, this elusive goal only happened when I stopped weighing myself, when I stopped counting calories, when I stopped obsessing over all the foods I wasn't allowed to eat, and I gave myself more permission and created a healthy relationship with my body. And so this book, I think this is what I wish I had read when I was young. It's a book I wish my mum had read. It's a book I wish my doctor had read, to change the way we think about our weight, because this hyperfixation on trying to weigh less is actually making it so much harder for us to find a weight that our body feels comfortable at. So that's why I feel like my story is important, because I just want us to all know that we can be healthy without obsessing about every gram of food we eat.
So, so true. I mean, I think even Jane Fonda said recently that 90% of women spend their lives hating themselves.
And when you speak to your friends, you can understand it. The research shows that 75% of women have disordered eating. So if you're one of the miraculous women who have somehow gone unscathed without hating your body, without having a tricky relationship with food, you are the minority. And so for the mass majority of us, we get into this cycle of all or nothing when it comes to food, good and bad approach, where we feel guilty about the foods we've eaten. And the truth is, it's not helping us be healthier.
So I guess one thing we need to accept, it's a very real fact that as we go through life, our bodies do change. And I think particularly in this podcast, when women are in this stage of perimenopause and menopause, our bodies lay down fat differently. Suddenly we've got a belly, this male style belly that maybe we had hips before. There's a whole new level of self-criticism that comes in.
In addition, we have a slowed metabolism. We have less muscle mass, which means that it's all contributing and making it harder for us. So I hear from a lot of women who'll say, I'm eating exactly what I previously ate, and yet my body's just changed. And throwing on top of that, we have the mood complications. So then if you were previously an emotional or binge eater, that can get even worse as well. So we've got to have a conversation about this.
Yeah. So have we confused being skinny with being healthy?
Oh, yes. Oh, my goodness. Haven't we just? We have an assumption that if someone weighs less, that they're automatically healthier. We use things like the BMI, which is incredibly outdated, to take someone's height and weight and to go, oh, we now know how healthy you are. I've met plenty of clients who are very slim, who smoke cigarettes and, do drugs or barely eat. They have energy drinks where they should be eating meals. And the world assumes that person is healthier than someone who exists in a larger body, who exercises, who goes to bed at night liking themselves, who fills up on beautiful, fresh, home-cooked food. And I think that's just dead wrong. So we need to stop equating the perfect looking body, in quotation marks, with someone who looks healthy. And I think this is why I think we need to get out of this idea that we need to strive for a certain goal weight. Your weight, your body, as you age, as you change, is going to change with you. I don't think our goal weight, we need to get rid of this idea of having a goal weight, because what you weighed in high school or what you weighed in your wedding day is not what is healthiest for your body to weigh now. And it's okay for your body to change through the different seasons of your life. And if that means you have a few different clothes in different sizes that you keep in your cupboard and you pop them away and you bring them back out when you need them so that you can wake up in the morning, you can get dressed and you can like yourself. I think that is what we should be doing.
Lindy, you talk about that in the book. You've got some great tips in here to help people feel more comfortable in their own skin. So I'm wondering if we can talk about some of them. Let's start with the term love my body. I mean, it's a bit like this term self-love that is around now. It's so un-Australian. We don't go around feeling love for ourselves, but that's what I like about the way you talk in the book. It's not about love. It's just about, hey, this is me. This is it.
What a lofty goal it is to love your body after hating it for so many years or decades. Is that really attainable? I don't think so. And I don't actually think it's the goal. I think we have to get to a point where we stop self-loathing, where we choose to accept our body's imperfections. And what this means is forgiving it. When you do the healthy things, you exercise, you eat well, and it doesn't look the way you always dreamt it would, can you decide to forgive your body for having unflattering angles, for having moments where it's just not perfectly tight and toned the way you think it is? Now, we've all had the situation where we've walked past a shop front and you catch a glimpse of yourself and you go, oh, is that what I look like? Or you see a photo of yourself and it's really unflattering and you get really upset about this. It is upsetting. And I want you to just think about this analogy. You know, when you see a sunrise or a sunset, more realistic, and you take out your phone to take a photo, and then you look back at that photo, it just didn't capture the beauty of the sun. You don't think, the sun, she was not giving me her best angles. Oh, wow, the sun, she's let herself go. Oh, the sun, she's really got to work on how she looks. No, you think it was a shitty photo. You blame the photo, not the sun. And I want you to think about the same thing when it comes to you. When you see an unflattering photo of yourself or an unflattering angle, it is not your job in life to look perfect from every single angle. You're going to have moments where you look in the mirror and you go, I'm gorgeous. I'm vibing myself today. I'm filled with confidence. And there'll be times where you look in the mirror and you look like a constipated pigeon. You know, you'll be these things, and that is perfectly fine. You are human. And you are going to be imperfect. And I think this idea that we've equated health with looking perfect is dead wrong. And we just got to try a little bit more self-acceptance, not self-love.
I think social media can be a real demon for this as well. You know, scrolling through feeds on Facebook, Instagram, where everybody is creating an idealized version of themselves. Boy, it's very easy to start feeling really despairing.
Isn't it just? Yeah, absolutely. And we certainly can take control of our social media feeds, but the algorithm continues to change. So nowadays, even if you don't follow someone, the algorithm pushes someone else's content into your feed and says, we think you might like this. If you didn't realize it, you can turn that off. So in the top right corner, you'll see three little dots, click those, and then you can turn off people you don't follow from turning up in your feed for about 30 days. And I would just recommend this as a good approach if you are using social media.
Try that. We'll be right back after this.
Perimenopause can actually start in your 40s. Declining estrogen production during perimenopause brings on changes to menstrual cycles and often the onset of hot flushes, night sweats, mood swings, and sexual problems. Promensal Peri is specifically designed for perimenopausal women and can help relieve these common menopausal symptoms. Promensal Peri is available at leading pharmacies across Australia and offers a cost-effective treatment at under $1 a day. When things start to change, try Promensal Peri. Always read the label and follow the directions for use.
Okay, we're back. One of the things that you also talk about that this alludes to is body dysmorphia. Do you think that most of us have that to some degree?
Oh, absolutely. Now think back to a photo of yourself when you were 20. And you think back at that photo, you remember hating how you looked or wishing you weighed less or wanting to have changed something about your body. Now, with hindsight, you look at that photo and you go, damn, I was cute. I looked so good. This is just more evidence to the fact that the way we see ourselves isn't correct. We don't have a clear picture. You probably look back at photos from yourself a few years ago and go, I wish I looked like that. And the same thing is going to apply. Now, at some point, we need to kind of understand that our self-perception has been twisted over many years of being told that our worth as women is dictated by how small we can make ourselves. And the challenge is you simply can't live a full life on an empty stomach. If every thought keeps coming back to calories consumed or reps at the gym or how many points you have left, you're really limiting your potential in your headspace, and it's creating a hyperfixation with the very foods you're trying to avoid. And so there's I talk about this in the book. There's really interesting research about the minute we're telling ourselves we can't have certain foods, how much more pleasure we then derive from the food when we do finally eat it. So if someone says to me, I feel like I'm addicted to sugar or I'm addicted to chocolate, you're not, but the brain is very much programmed to seek out the things of which it is not allowed to have. And if you are fundamentally under-eating, and so many smart, brilliant women I meet do not eat enough during the day because they're trying to be good, because they're trying to lose weight, because they're trying to compensate for overeating yesterday. And so they undereat, and this just sets us up for a pantry raid in the afternoon, either in front of people, but very often in secret when no one is watching. And then we lie in bed at night beating ourselves up for failing yet again. It's got nothing to do with your willpower. It's got nothing to do with your self-control. There are very primal biological processes happening in your body to try and make sure you don't undereat. And that's why you feel so out of control around food. And what we need to do is we need to address this. And even if you've been dieting for years, for decades, It's never too late to start to work on this healthier relationship with food. It's scary because part of what I talk about is going, we've got to stop weighing ourselves. The very things we've been doing of trying to control food that we think is helping us regulate our weight, what if they are the very problem? What if your weight isn't the problem, but it's your relationship with food, it's dieting, the things that are making it harder for you to eat healthily? And if we change those, become curious about what might happen.
Another aspect of this is how it affects our confidence in our relationship. Let's be real. How can we take our clothes off in front of our partner if we just feel so unlovely in ourselves?
Body image, you could be mistaken for thinking that trying to lose weight is a vanity pursuit. It's not. Fundamentally, when we fail on a diet, it's not just that we're blaming, ourselves, but we blame our very self-worth and our essence. And so hating on your body, it impacts on everything you do, from how you show up in the world, for how intimate you allow yourself to be with your partner, especially things like our stomach. For women, this is the softness of our stomach is being something we've been told we're not allowed to have a soft stomach, even though it's very natural and protective to have a layer of fat over your stomach. Firstly, it protects your internal organs. Women need a certain body fat percentage in order for our hormones to fire as they need to fire. And this whole idea of having a flat stomach is so outdated and ridiculous, particularly if you have had children. Your stomach, there's going to be stretching and sagginess, and this is just normal. And I feel like, as I said, we're keeping our lives small by this idea that we're not working on body image. We keep trying to fix the solution by trying to weigh less. We get to our goal weight and we're like miraculously not supremely better for it. We don't keep the weight off. At some point, we need to take a long-term view and go, what are we going to do about this? And what this means is slowly building better body image and building that healthier relationship with food, so we don't let hating on our body fling us into an extreme diet, prevent us from being intimate and comfortable with our partners or in social circumstances. This is big, important stuff. It's not frivolous and it's worth working on.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the strategies that you have in the book, the ways in which we can cultivate more acceptance of our bodies.
One, I want you to think about if your shoe size goes up, and when you get pregnant, your foot does get bigger. You don't go, oh, my silly foot, I have to try and fit into a smaller size. You buy a larger size. Now, when it comes to clothes, we have a very different perspective around this. We are very attached to the number of clothes that we have always worn and what clothes we think we believe we are, even though there's no standardized clothing sizing at all. In Australian shops, the mannequins in our stores are so small that even the size 6, the smaller size clothes, has to be pinned into place. And this is kind of further perpetuating this problem. So my advice to you is buy clothes that fit. I don't know what it is, but when you buy underwear, why do I have to size up 2 or 3 sizes before I finally find underwear that doesn't cut into my fat? There's something going on there that needs to be rectified. What I'm saying is go through your wardrobe. And once again, this could seem frivolous and pointless, but I need you to wake up in the morning and not to let getting dressed ruin your day, to destroy your mood, to make you think a diet is the solution, when really what we need to do is find clothing that fits your body. Clothes are meant to fit your body, and your body doesn't need to change to fit your clothes. And that's an important distinction. And I know you've gone, I have this entire wardrobe and I have to spend more money. You know what? You are worth investing in. You can get some great pieces that are affordable from our discount kind of shops, but you deserve to wake up in the morning and get dressed and feel comfortable in your body.
That's a great tip.
The other thing we can often end up doing is we get into a bit of a bad pattern on hating on our body, where you might lie in bed at night and, as I said, you run through all the things that you ate that you think are terrible and how you need to lose weight, or we go, I've got this event coming up, I really want to try and lose weight for it. Please stop setting weight loss targets. This is very important. Now, you go, I do want to lose weight for my health, for my well-being, for all these reasons. Yes. But what we know is that setting a weight loss target is actually setting you up to gain more weight in the long term. So think about it like this. If you start running to lose weight, now after 2 weeks, you don't lose weight, or your weight plateaus, or you don't lose enough weight according to what you thought you ought to lose based on the effort you're exerting, you're not going to keep running. You're going to ditch this habit that made you feel happier, that helped you sleep better, that gave you more energy, simply because it did not hit the target of what you had set it to. Or what ends up happening is we go on a diet and we have a goal weight, we reach the goal weight, and because we've reached the goal, we stop doing all the things. If you're propelled into dieting because you hate your body, because you want to change your size, and then as you lose weight, you hate your body less, the thing that motivated you to get there in the first place is now missing. We can't be using weight loss as a goal to lead to sustainable weight loss. And I think the thing to really get your head around is that weighing yourself, tracking food, all these things that you think are helping you regulate your weight are the very things that are creating a much greater issue. So let's let go of those weight targets and let's become aware of those mind things that are happening when you notice your brain gets stuck on a loop, lying in bed at night, thinking about all the ways that you need to do better. I want you to imagine that your brain is like a radio channel. And just like a radio channel, when we find something we don't like the music, we can very quickly flick a switch and stop listening to that channel. I want you to try practice doing that. Notice when those thoughts, those negative, unhelpful thoughts are coming in and we flick the channel and we decide to think new thoughts. Because if those thoughts were helping you lose weight, wouldn't you be at your goal weight by now?
We'll be right back after this. Okay, we're back. Tell you something else that I found quite empowering was when I really committed to regular strong strength building exercise, and I started to love the fact that my body was strong, and that gave me a body confidence in a way that was different to I'm size 10 or I'm size 12,
Amen. Amen. I don't know how it was for you, but exercise really got ruined for me when I was growing up, when I was going through these dieting years, because it was something that I equated with punishment for eating, or as I would Google what would help me burn the most calories, what should I be doing, what was the best exercise to lose weight, and I would commit to doing those exercises. And then I struggled with consistency. I thought, I have to use so much willpower in order to get myself to go to the gym. And this is what I have to say to us is 20 minutes of exercise that you enjoy is always better than an hour at the gym that doesn't happen. So we need to let go of this idea of what the perfect exercise is. And we need to do exercise purely for enjoyment because we like who we are when we exercise, because we like how it makes us feel. And there is a form of movement out there for everyone. It can be a simple walk. I have so many women who are like, but what's the point of going for a slow walk? It's not going to burn enough calories. It's pointless. No, there are so many flow-on effects from moving your body. So things such as having more energy, having a boost in your mood, sleeping better. And you can't underestimate how powerful these things are for affecting your weight, for affecting a whole bunch of other health parameters in your life. Go for just a walk. Go for a slow yoga, a gentle movement, whatever it is. Every exercise counts. It's all worthwhile.
Some of my colleagues are really into Zumba.
Yes. Have fun.
Dancing for joy.
It should be fun. Or like pushing grandkids in a pram. Brilliant. Oh my goodness. You're killing it at life. Let's lower the bar. It's been set too high. It's making it so impossible for us to meet these lofty standards. As a result, we feel like we're perpetually failing. And I tell you what, procrastination and perfectionism, they're very good friends. So procrastination tells us, or perfectionism tells us, if something's not worth doing perfectly, then it's not worth doing at all. But that's not the case. A quick little jog, a quick little walk, a little bit of a dance, a boogie in your kitchen, it all counts. It all contributes. Small amounts add up to something really big.
That's so true. One of the best lines in your book, I think, is being thin or being pretty is the least impressive thing you can do.
Oh, and I wish this is what had been taught to me growing up. I wish it had been instilled in me, that I'd been taught it every single day. And it's the thing I want women around the world to know. And in this book, I really do talk about how to raise kids, raise grandkids, people in your life, to have healthy relationships with food in your body. Because I think for generations, we've been passing down disordered eating from mothers to daughters. Comments like, you finish everything on your plate, or do you really need to eat that, or pull in your stomach. this is normal language that we hear between mothers and daughters. A mother thinks, well, no one else is going to tell you. I'm the one who's responsible for helping you. And the daughter says, you're meant to love me more than anyone. You're meant to think I'm perfect. Why are you criticizing me so much? And I think there are sometimes things we do as parents where we absentmindedly say something because that's how we were raised. And we can start to raise kids who like their bodies, who eat when they're hungry and stop when they're full, who don't have emotional eating, who just self-regulate in a way that we never had the opportunity to do. So this book not only helps you create that healthier relationship with food, but if you've got any younger people in your life who you want to help give the gift that you did not receive, this is going to be a guidebook to help you do that.
Fantastic. Because I think self-acceptance is something we all deserve.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Lindy. And listeners, check out Lindy's fabulous book, Your Weight is Not the Problem. Meanwhile, for more great information about living your healthiest life, don't forget to pick up a copy of Prevention magazine. I'm Andrea Duval. I'll see you next time.